Getting stuck is easy. Getting unstuck is not so easy, unless you know how. Whether it's personally or professionally, the steps to change are exactly the same. There's a clear-cut formula to living the life you want and deserve. Are you ready to make a change? It's easier than you think. Go to thehabitformulabook.com and get yourself a free copy. Remember, you don't even have to read it. Just do the exercises at the end of each chapter. If you want me to hold your hand, upgrade your order to the premium course. These principles are the same steps I took to work 25% less and make 30% more. If you seriously want to change something in your life, thehabitformulabook.com will show you how. And get yourself a free copy! Or upgrade to the premium course for even better and faster results. And get unstuck today. thehabitformulabook.com.
Hey everybody, you know what time it is. It's lunchtime with the Habit Master. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Aldrich, and what I do is I help people hit their goals both professionally and personally by tweaking their habits, their daily routines, how they think about things, and what they do ultimately to try to hit their goals. And that's what I do. If you're thinking that you need any help making 2019 the best year ever for you, go to thehabitformulabook.com and grab yourself a free copy. Do the exercises at the end of each chapter, and I'm telling you, it will just clear your mind of all the cobwebs, of all of the things that other people have said, of all your past failures, and what it'll do is it'll give you the motivation and the plan that you can go ahead and do anything you want, both professionally and personally. So make sure you grab a copy of that. So today is all about persuasion, right? And this is a topic that, this isn't voodoo stuff. This isn't NLP things, but you can use this both in business and personally. Persuasion can be a very, very important thing so that you can not just compromise in life with a relationship that you have, both personally and professionally, but also you can kind of convince the other person to be more on your team, right? Because that's all we're about, right? Is trying to make connections with people and to, let's say you have something that's important to you that you feel the other person would benefit, like the habit formula stuff. Like, I cannot stress enough, this little book here is the culmination of the last 3 years of my life. And the change that I have seen from following the principles here, and these aren't my principles, these are just principles that I wrote down that I followed to change not only things personally, losing weight, how I approach my child and being a parent, and also with my hubby, but also professionally and how I run my dental practice. The principles are very broad and basically can be used in any situation. So, trying to convince you, maybe you think you're fine now. Maybe you're earning good money, you're earning 6 figures, and you're like, I'm comfortable, everything's great. Yeah, maybe I'm a little overweight, but I'm happy. Okay, then maybe your mindset isn't in the right spot that you feel like you have to improve. I know for me, I always want more, and that's just my personality. I want to improve my life. I want to grow. I love learning new things because the older I get, I understand that I don't know everything, right? And something that we can pick up on today are principles of persuasion, okay? So today's Thursday, and we always talk about some kind of basic life skill that we can make into a habit that we can use both professionally and personally. And persuasion is a huge one. And I was reading an article on Forbes this morning, and they talked about the 21 principles of persuasion. Now, we're not going to get into 21, but I am going to pick out the top 10, and we're going to talk about that, okay? So what exactly is persuasion? So I looked it up in the dictionary because some people think that persuasion is manipulation. They think it's, voodoo psychology stuff. But basically, persuasion is the act or fact of persuading someone or of being persuaded to do or believe something, okay? You go to church on Sunday. What does the pastor or preacher do? They're persuading you. They're convincing you that the stories that they're telling have something to do with your life, and they're trying to make a connection so that you can live your life according to the gospel, and maybe there's something that it can help you solve, right? So when they're preaching to you, when you're listening to their sermon, they are masters at persuasion. And you don't realize it. They're not trying to manipulate you. That is not their intention at all. But what they're doing is trying to convince you, trying to make a connection with you that you should live your life according to the words of the gospel, right? And that's what their whole job is to do, is to try to make you live a better life, and maybe you can learn a story that's in one of the gospel preachings, right? So real easy. Now, in business, it's a little bit different. It's the process of changing a person or group's attitude or behavior towards an event, okay? An event, an idea, an object, or another person. You can do this through written information, feelings, or reasoning. So in business, you're still trying to convince the other person or group that whatever you have, it will help them, will benefit them, will solve a problem, right? Because why does anybody buy anything, right? You have a service or a product. They buy because your product or service can go and satisfy and solve whatever problem that they have, right? Sometimes they don't know that they have those problems, and that's something as a business person you need to point out and educate them through written information, through prospecting, through asking questions on, digging deep on what exactly it is that their problem is, so that maybe you guys can make the connection and you can solve that problem for them and sell them your product or service. Now, personally, when we're dating, we're in the dating game, right? And we're trying to meet somebody to make a connection with. The whole art of dating is nothing but persuasion. You're trying to convince the other person that you're the mag daddy, you're awesome, and that they should go out with you. They should spend some time with you. Whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, that, you're the bomb diggity bomb, right? So persuasion is a very important skill that I think makes your life a little easier to make connections, because that's what life is. There's so many people on this planet, I think, over 7 billion. We're here to make connections with each other and to help each other become better and to feel loved and to feel important, and it's all about those connections. So let's get started. I've been blabbing on enough. Let's talk about 10 rules of persuasion. Number 1 is reciprocity. Reciprocity basically is summed up with, if I give you something, you kind of feel obligated to give me something back, right? So let's say personally it's, holiday time, and you're not expecting me to give you a present, right? But I had a great year. I just feel like, hey, I want to give you something. And what do you do when you get a present from someone that you don't have one in return, right? You're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm embarrassed. I really want to give this person something too because they gave me something. Like, that's just correct. That's just, manners, right? And that is the power of reciprocity. Now, let's say you're in business and, you want to give something to a customer that's been a customer of yours for a while, maybe a little anniversary gift. They've been with you for 5 years. A nice little thing is, maybe a little coffee mug or, something that, a little gift card or something, whatever. What that does to the other person is it kind of lets their guard down, and it also puts you in their mind that, hey, maybe we need to do more business with this person because they were thinking of me. They've got my back. They are thinking about me. I can trust them, right? So reciprocity really is a very integral part of business and relationships. Think of putting your olive branch first, right? If you extend friendship, if you extend knowledge, if you extend help to someone else, more than likely they're then going to want to make a connection with you. They're not going to be defensive and back off. Hey, I don't know who this person is. But if you're generous with your knowledge, with your help, with your service, and give first, most of the time you will get back because they feel like there is a connection there and that they can trust you. Number 2 is persistence. Persistence. I didn't spell that right. Hold on. With an S. Persistence. What I mean by that is the person that asks for what they want continuously usually wins out in the end. So think of your kid, mom. What happens? Okay! Shut up! Leave me alone! But here you go! Shut up! And that satisfies them, and then they go away, right? Mom, I want this. Mom, I want this. Mom, I want this. Whatever. This can also happen in business. You got to have a follow-up system, right? That's what this all means. Persistence. I know my product or service is going to help you. I'm going to keep calling you. I'm going to keep telling you, hey, we can help you. All you got to do is, get this product or service. I can help you. I can help you. Hey, how's that problem going? You know what? I got something that can help you. So persistence really is an important thing as far as persuading the other person. So you can use this both personally and professionally. So don't forget about persistence. Very important. Number 3. One of my favorites. Don't assume. And what does assume mean? I am thinking of something and it's making an ass out of you and me, right? Assume. You can't assume what the other person wants, right? So let's say you're in a relationship, excuse me, and maybe, you're arguing about something. Well, what does that argument really entail, right? What is it really about? Sometimes, and especially women, we might snip and snap about something, but that's not really the issue that is causing the argument. And that's something that, as the other person, you need to figure out, well, what is this that they really are needing? Is there something that I'm not doing? I need to help out more. I need to, be more aware of your feelings. I need to, be more romantic. Whatever it is. But you got to be aware of, hey, maybe I don't know what they need, Ask them, what do you need? What am I not doing? What am I not providing you that, you and I have friction, right? So in business, it's the same thing. So let's say you're in sales and, you think your product is the best product ever. The problem is you don't know what the customer wants or needs until you ask them. You can't assume that your product is best for everyone because maybe it's not. Maybe they're using something that's similar to yours and it's solving their problems, and you're basically just butting your head up against the wall and wasting your time, right? And their time. Don't assume that you know more than them. Ask. There's so many questions that you can ask that will give you these answers. You don't assume anything, okay? Number 4, you need to create scarcity. Scarcity. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could spell today. Hold on. Scarcity. Scarcity. Okay. So scarcity means that it's high demand and low supply, right? Everybody loves scarcity. The psychology behind it is we want things that other people want. Why? Because then that makes us not a freakazoid. If they want it, then I guess I should want it because we're all connected. We're all human beings, right? We're all the same. So scarcity can be used in a dating situation. So let's say that, you just meet somebody and they call you every day for 3, 4, 5 days straight, and you're like, okay, this is moving a little fast. If you're unavailable a little bit, that kind of gets their juices flowing a little bit more too, because, hey, that means you're important, you've got other things to do, and you're not so desperate for their attention and time, right? Sometimes when you're too available, call me anytime, do whatever, that almost means like you're not that important, you're just there to follow them, and you might be desperate, right? And nobody wants to go out with a desperate person, right? But it's the same thing in business. Scarcity. If people think that, they're missing out on something, oh my gosh, hundreds of people in the area use your product or service and they don't, they're going to think, well, why am I not using this product or service too? What's happening here? And it kind of persuades them to kind of go along with the herd, right? Most people don't have enough, oomph to be by themselves and to do their own thing. So they tend to follow the herd. And that's kind of where persuasion gives us a benefit, is that if you can convince somebody to go along with the herd where everyone else is, then that's almost like a social proof and they will go with it. Okay? Along with scarcity is urgency. If you're going out with a lot of people, that kind of creates urgency because, you're a popular person. And if someone wants to hang out with you, they better do it now because tomorrow night you're busy. This weekend you're already busy. So, in business, urgency can be, hey, we've got an offer, we've got a sale going on, we've got coupons. That's why those were invented. It creates urgency. If I want to save money and I know it solves my problem, I want to get that product going ASAP. When can you have it? Let's get started, right? Because I don't want to miss out on something. Something in the deal that you've created in business has created urgency for that person. So you always want to think of present. You don't want to think of the future because, especially in business, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So you want to lock that deal down now, right? So number 6, rules of persuasion is written. And what does that mean? You need to write things down, okay? Love letters, you want to lose weight. Write out what you're going to do today, what you're going to eat. Have your daily planner ready to go. The written word is so much more powerful than something that's spoken, right? In business, it's the same thing. Think of, the ancient stories, okay? Back in the day, they didn't have any kind of written language, right? So what they would do is they would tell the stories from generation to generation. Now think of all the details. Think of all the things that have changed, that people couldn't remember, and how those stories changed from generation to generation. I mean, geez, if I tell you a joke and you're telling your buddy the joke, are you going to remember everything about that joke, especially if it's a little bit longer of a joke? Or are you going to, it's something like this and blah, 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 and you're going to miss half of it, right? Now, if that keeps going on for generations to generations, think of what that story is going to be like. It's going to be completely different, okay? So especially when you're trying to do weight loss, for instance, and you're trying to record your calories. You're not recording them in your head, right? Because you're like, okay, I had a bite of this and I had a little bit of taste of this or whatever. No, if you're counting calories, you need to write them down. That is rock solid evidence of what you've done, and it will help you easily keep track of things because they're written. You can calculate it. They're measurable. They're quantitative. You can see them. You can follow the course of everything over a week, over a month, over a year when you write things down, because I can't even remember what I did yesterday, let alone what I did a month or a year ago. The power of the written word is huge, okay? So make sure when you're in a situation where you're trying to convince somebody of something, give them the benefits. Give them the whole deal. Create urgency. You've got a sale going on. You need to do it by this date or you lose out on the money. Give them the benefits of what your product or service can, solve. Write all this stuff down. Don't assume that they're listening to you. Maybe they're thinking of, what am I going to have for lunch today? And they missed half of what you said. But if you write it, and then they go home and read all the stuff, read your contract, read, your love letter, read whatever, then they're going to realize, hey, oh yeah, I need to talk to them more about this because I wasn't really paying attention, right? Attention span really is an issue, and especially now with, all of our devices and everything that, we're exposed to, all the ads and all the social media and all of that. So that's something very important, is to write everything down. Number 7, you need to build rapport. People want to be around other people that they like, that are similar to them, that they can make a connection to, that there's some kind of basis of rapport that they can build a relationship and a foundation for, right? So building rapport can help you convince somebody of buying your product, of going out with you, of that your way is the way that they should go and hop on board. I own a gym, and 3 of your friends go to that gym, and they're looking good because I'm taking the time to train them and to get them into shape. That's kind of the rapport. Hey, I like you, you're cool, my friends love you, I love my friends. Maybe I should start going to your gym too and having you train me. So rapport really is an important thing. If you're in sales and you have a new customer, you gotta find something that you guys have in common together, right? So maybe you both have grandchildren. Maybe you love to vacation in Italy. Maybe you love a certain type of wine. You have to have those kind of platonic conversations, the ones that are a little bit more shallow, and then start asking them questions. Or maybe you hear them talking to somebody else about something. See if you can build that rapport for them, because people want to be around people they like, that they trust, and also that are like them. Because if they think that, hey, you can solve my problem, we're going to go dating and you're trying to convince me that we have a lot in common, well, we have to have some kind of foundation to build a relationship with. And that's where rapport comes into place. Number 8, you got to motivate people. And I'm not necessarily talking about rah, rah, shish, kumbah kind of thing, okay? You don't need to motivate them to, go and take the garbage out or anything. But what you do need to do is don't exhaust them. I have some patients that come in here that are exhausting. They ask me 50,000 questions, which I've already answered 2, 3, 4 times previously. They can't make a decision. All they do is complain about things, and all I can do is, keep my cool, try to answer them and be as nice as I can, but also my job is to try to motivate them. Give them all the details that they want, give them all the pros and cons they want, and try to motivate them and convince them to go along with the treatment that they already know they want, but for some reason they have something in their brain that's holding them back, fear of the unknown. You try to give them the known, give them certainty, so that will motivate them to make a decision and move on. Okay? Number 9, be prepared. I think that's the Boy Scout motto, is be prepared, right? When, let's say for instance, you've got a hot date, try to find something out about that person before. Maybe their friends are friends with your friends. Hey, what does he like or she like? Is she into this or into that? Whatever. Is there a favorite food, or do they like flowers, or, whatever. Try to figure out a little bit of information prior to that. When you do that, people think, oh my gosh, they're already paying attention to me. They thought about me ahead of time. Their defenses go down and they're more willing. It's almost like reciprocity, where they want to give you something too. So if you give them the vibe that you're interested in them, and you want to know things about them and get to know them better, then that's going to convince them or persuade them that they're going to want to do the same to you. They're going to want to, it kind of piques their curiosity, and they're going to want to give you information and make time during their day to spend time with you, right? Now in business, it's exactly the same thing. So let's say you have a sales call with a big company and you're meeting the executive team, right? For you to make this meeting go smoothly and to almost get an upper hand in the situation, you need to be prepared. You need to know what the company is about, what kind of things, maybe their sales have been down in the last 2 or 3 quarters. You need to already have that information down, because maybe they're, with the economy, maybe their stock is, there's an issue there, maybe it's whatever their product is. Is there anything that your product or service can help them with their issues? That's the only reason they're going to buy from you, right? It's because you are solving a problem for them, okay? You got to be prepared with that. You should already know what the answers are. All you should be doing is being prepared and using something written and talking to them about what is their issue, just to make sure, because we don't want to assume, right? Make sure what their issue is, and then tie that into your solution. When you do that, you're a persuasion king and queen. You will have no problem. So being prepared is always, always, always a good thing. I know in dentistry, I'm prepared with, I ask them, what do you want? We give them pricing. We know what their insurance will cover. We tell them how long the procedure is going to be, and what the aftercare kind of issues will be. And then before we even do anything, we're already prepared. They know what they're getting themselves into, and they're either on board or they're not. And I don't really have to convince anybody of anything or sell them anything, because we're prepared. We write it down. We already have the rapport because they've been a patient for a long time. I never assume that I know what they want. I ask them, here's your options. What do you want, right? Sometimes we have scarcity in there because sometimes I am running a special on certain items in the office, and if they want it, they got to get it done. But another thing I do is I create urgency, because we know anything in our body, it never gets any better, right? As soon as you start having a little bit of a problem, all it's going to do is get worse. And that translates, especially in dentistry, as more pain and more money. So more pain, more money, we create urgency. So persuasion is very important, no matter if you're doing it personally or professionally. And the last one is agree. Now, this is hard to do for everybody, even myself. I get ticked off a lot. I have my father's temper. And I have to try to respond and not react to situations. An easy way to build rapport with someone, to try to get on some type of connection and level ground, build a foundation with each other, is to agree with the person. So you're a salesperson and you're going into a situation and they don't even want to talk to you. I'm not interested, right? Well, I understand. I understand that you're not interested, and the reason being is you don't even know what I'm going to say. I haven't even talked to you about our service or product yet. And what that does is, it makes a connection. It kind of lowers their defense because they know that you and them are starting to connect a little bit, and that, they can start listening to what you have to say. So that you're there to solve their problem. You're not necessarily there just to make a commission or a sale, right? When you're doing this personally, it's the same thing. If you and your spouse are having a spat about something, at some point you got to compromise. You got to have an agreement on something so that you guys can solve the issue and move on. So agreement really is an important thing to help persuade the other person to build that relationship and connection and to kind of move on with things, right? So you've got these 10 principles of persuasion. You have reciprocity, you have persistence. Don't assume that you know what they need. You need to ask them. You need to write it down. You need to investigate. Scarcity, you don't want to be too available. Urgency, always live in the present. Don't think about the future or the past. Number 6, written. You want to write everything down, personally or professionally, so that you don't forget the details, just like those stories from the golden days. Number 7, rapport. You always want to make a connection with someone. You don't want to, go in as a complete stranger. You always want to find something that's in common with the person and build on that. Number 8 is motivate. You're not there to rah-rah somebody, but you're there to help them and to motivate them into a decision, right? Number 9, being prepared. Make sure you know as much about that other person as possible going into your initial meetings so that they are impressed with you and their defenses start going down. And that's what it's all about, is connection and communication, right? And then finally, number 10 is agreement. Try to find something that you can agree with them on to lower their defenses, and that way they can, you can kind of meet in the middle a lot easier. So that's the skill set of persuasion. I hope you guys learn these 10 steps, write them down, and start using them both professionally and personally. I'm telling you, this is one of the most powerful basic life habits that you can learn and use every single day. So thanks for watching. If you guys are on iTunes or Spotify, go check out Lunchtime with the Habit Master episodes. Also, I upload these and other types of videos surrounding the 3 pillars of success, which are mindset, planning, and action, on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe there. Look for Stephanie Aldrich, the Habit Master. And as usual, we're on Facebook Live. So if you're around at lunchtime, check us out. I hope everybody has a great day. And remember our motto, let's build good habits together. I'll see you guys tomorrow.